Hello, welcome back to Stony Creek Farm. I was going to do a little piece on the pigs because I've had quite a few people ask me why do we keep pigs when they make so much damage to the paddock, and it took me a long time to convince myself to get pigs. It was influenced by Tanya and a good friend of ours, Greg, and I researched it a fair bit, and they do a lot of damage. I'll show you what they've done to the second break and what I've done in the first break, and I think they'll move into the next break probably next week. Here's the boys down here. Hello, Tom and Harry. Don't touch the fence, it'll burn you. So I learned a lot off YouTube, and I looked up a couple of big operators. Rob from Dowdle Family Farms, he was a really good video or YouTuber to watch. There's quite a few other ones that have pigs on small scale, and they really are good pets to have, and they do a lot of damage to the ground, but I look upon it now as renovations because they actually bulldoze with their noses. It's amazing how much they root around in the ground. But I'll flip it around and you can watch while I talk. So here's the boys down here. They haven't worked on this area much. As you can see, it's still, all the grasses are standing upright. There's a lot of rubbish grass in here. There's love grass, and I'm not sure of all the grasses, but they are getting into this area. Hello, boy. But as you can see, as I move up the paddock, what's wrong? I haven't got anything else for you. No, go away. So up here, you can see they've dug quite deep into the soil, and they're following me around and nudging at the legs. And their mouths are big enough to fit around my leg now, so I'll keep moving. But as you can see up here, they've really got stuck into it, and this is good because they're turning it over there. What's wrong? They're adding manure to it, trampling the grass down into the ground. The next break is really long, and they'll do the same in here as they've done in here. But what I've been able to do is in the first break, which they did as much ploughing in, I've sown it down to a cover crop, and basically it's a smorgasbord. It's a salad bar for pigs. Basically the different species I've got in here, I think there's 9 different species of grasses and brassicas and other plants. It's quite a lot. Clovers, and I've had a good going of it. It's starting to come through nicely in most places. Down the bottom here, it was all sown the same time. I didn't touch any of this. But down the bottom here, oh yeah, it's starting to come through now. It's taken about a week and a half for it to come through. And that's doing really nicely. There's some good grasses in there that'll keep going. And as you can see up here, I've got a good strike happening up here. And there's peas and radishes, turnips, a rape, ryegrass, phalaris, the white clover, red clover. I don't think I put any lucerne in this mix. That's in the paddock mix. I've put some lucerne. But it's basically a smorgasbord. So the guys, and everywhere where there's animals and other things, there's tomatoes, because we feed a lot of our rotted tomatoes to them. Between the pigs and the chooks, they get a few, and the seeds come out in the ground. I've got tomatoes growing out in the paddock too. So as you can see, this is coming along nicely, and I probably will get a graze out of this before the pigs are no more. But you can see up here, it's where they really renovated up here. There's zucchinis growing, pumpkins growing, anything that we've fed them that's got seeds in it, it's coming out in the ground. Oats. And I'll do the same to this. It takes a bit of work. You've got to get in and rake it around a bit and move the lumps around. If I had a bigger area, I could run some chain harrows over it. Hello, mate. Hey. You love a pat, don't you? Hey. But they're certainly growing. They're looking really nice. And not overly fat. They're nice and lean. I am supplementing them with grain and a pellet. Not a lot. They mostly get garden scraps. I've got corn growing. We've got Jerusalem artichokes that'll be coming through soon. Hey, don't bite. And the new watering system is working. Watch out. They really made a mess up here when it got all wet. Oh, I must have a leaky tap here. It's leaking on the ground. Or have you learnt that if you push on it, you get a lot of water? I think that's what they're doing. I think they hold it down to get the water coming through. Here's Dick drinking from it. Yeah, it might be too much pressure. I'll turn down the pressure. Because he'll just turn that into a wallow. But they do like it. I should leave them a bit, shouldn't I? Hey? Oh, yes. Get into it. He'll dig a hole under the fence eventually. They do like a bit of mud on a hot day. Cools them down. I'll need to bring down some straw and put them in for their bedding. They've made a mess of all of that. Time to replace it. So note to self, turn down the pressure on their tap. Here comes Tom. Hello, mate. So this year, and I think they've been in that break there for nearly 2 weeks. I think it's time to nearly move them if they don't turn over down the bottom there. But then move them into here, and they'll probably, now that they're getting bigger, they're getting a lot better at turning the ground. They'll turn over the next patch quite well and quickly. You're all dirty, Harry. And then I can move them out into this paddock here. I'll have to mow some breaks and then set up the electric fencing for them. But I'll give them a much bigger break and they can stay in there for longer. And they do a really good job of rooting up the ground and basically ploughing it. And I just finish preparing it and sow down a good crop of different species that'll be good for them, and also the next lot of pigs that we get. It's good that I'm able to water this section as well. Otherwise I don't think I'll be able to do it as well as I have been. But as you can see, they're mini bulldozers. Aren't you, Harry? Come on. That's the boy. They're all coming. See you later. I'll leave it there. But that's why I have pigs. Apart from I like pork as a food, and what better food can you get than animals that are raised on what they're meant to be raised on, instead of in sheds and commercially grown feed. Even though I do use some, I think from the information that I've got, you need to supplement their food with a higher protein. So they're getting about 15-16% protein, and then anything that they get from here. I still don't know how much I should be feeding them. I think they get, between the three of them, probably nearly a kilo a day, maybe. About 3 scoops, either of pellets or of fermented grains, which they just love the grain, and then they love the ferment juice as well, so it must be good for their gut. And they're putting it all back into the soil, so as I move them out into the paddock, I can use them in the future to renovate the paddocks. It's eating some of the newer shoots. Awfully close to the wire. I should put that wire up another notch because they are getting bigger, and they certainly respect it. I haven't had any breakages or breakouts unless the wire's been off for some reason, which I've had a couple of times when I was doing their water up there. I had it off, and then while it was off, it only took them about 10-15 minutes and they worked it out, and they came straight into here and started eating some of the fresh shoots. So, but they're pretty good. They're pretty well trained. They'll go back in and out and follow me around. So they're pretty good animals to have. They're very entertaining. You're never bored around them. You got to watch them because they will nip you. Don't you, mate? And these guys are very good looking, and they're healthy as. So it's important to know where your food comes from and what your food eats. And the healthier they eat, the healthier food that they produce for us, and the healthier we are. We get some really good protein from these guys, and we can feed a couple of other families as well, and they do really good work on the paddocks. So thanks for listening to me, but I just thought I'd swing that around because I have had a few people negatively respond as to why the hell do you have pigs when they do so much damage. I didn't get as good a strike here because it was pretty hard packed here, but anywhere they've rooted or was organic matter like the kikuyu grass, it's just gone ballistic. So this will be a really nice salad patch for them. Give it another 6 to 8 weeks. So I'll leave it there. Bye from the pigs.